be really something when the world learns the freedom and the beauty and the completeness of non-doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Non-doing does not mean absence of activity. Non-being is the action without doer. You know, and don't teach it like too much like that as philosophy, but more like from the place of observing, like things are happening of their own within their own laws and their own nature. No? And it is here also within us. If we just be, just be as quiet as possible, and, without raising thought. So even if thought come, you're simply aware of it, but you don't try to manipulate or to control it. No? But just stay as the space and that sees it. From seeing. And then, like we were talking this morning with Chris, we were saying that knowing, which is not linked to concepts or to the external world, anything phenomenal, that if, as you withdraw from that field of knowing, doing, and knowledge, let go of them, it subsides naturally into a deeper knowing, which is non-conceptual. There's the space in which there's perceiving, but not intentional, just perceiving, and the awareness of perceiving, and that is synonymous with the self. That's our place. And in these simple pointers, depending upon how open one is and responsive to that kind of guidance, because sometimes you feel even the resistance in the mind, you can still say to them, even the resistance also is not you're not doing it. Our conditioning is behaving like that. And there's another power apart from the conditioning that is aware of the conditioning. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to develop that, you just have to be aware of it. Then you say, yes, it's right here, it's right here, it's right here. And then you see, they can admit and observe that the energies of everything else is just what's happening in your head. Everything else is just, your world is in your head. The world is not an objective field that you observe, actually. The world is sort of the stuff in your head. Is what the herbs and spices of our projections. And that we project that onto the basic elemental world and flavor it according to your conditioning and desire. And then, assume that world is real. So that's why I say there's only one earth, but there are billions of worlds, because in each one, what I mean by world is the unique way in which you perceive things. Like we are sitting in this place, we can say this in this field of so many different things, trees and hills and sky and people and earth and everything like that. But the inner response to them might be different. Personal conditioning may tend to, because of its own style of the way it works, be drawn to certain kind of things, and that becomes, that's your experience today. It might be very different from someone else sitting right next to them. And so the point of that is that the world is not something that we all agree upon. Yeah. Or that tree is there. Yes, this tree is there. Whatever. But is the emotional content, the way that we respond to them, that shapes your take on the world. Nobody has captured the world. You only can project and imagine something over it, what we call a world. So earth and world is a different thing for me. Earth is one thing. World is more of a psychological, emotional, personal play. And this is why the emphasis is only to become completely naked, empty of of conceptual attachments to anything. It's there, like that. Everything is there. That is the treasure, and that is you. You are your treasure, and the discovering of your treasure. And like that. Everything comes from there. Everything is there. Actually, the natural life that belongs to this expression is here, but we are often not aware of it. So we're living the projected life that comes through the mind and through conditioning, what we think is good for the us that we think we are, or the I that I think I am. But gradually, just through your satsang is working on everybody all the time. You only have to keep on being grateful for it and opening to it and so on. Because the work, even yourself, you're not doing the work. It's happening automatically. We are in this satsang energy pool. It's just like we say that everything is growing. And when it stops growing and it's dead, it keeps changing. So, like the trees, they're always growing. The air is always moving. The consciousness is always expanding, always ripening. But when you're conscious of it, it ripens quicker. When you're conscious of it, you cooperate with it. Let's say like that, because these words are still sort of like kindergarten to some extent. But when we continue to welcome it and to be, to love it and appreciate and respect it, then somehow the integration happens. When we move beyond knowing something to being what we say we know, from knowing to being. And say, yeah, I know I am the self. That's not the self saying. The knowing of the self and being self is the same. It should be the same. And then even the claim of that thing it's not necessary. It's easier to say, yes, I know this, and I know I am the awareness. And who is saying I know I am the awareness? Is it the awareness saying I know I am the awareness? What does awareness have to say about awareness? So that's the subtlety. This is the subtlety where the final resistance that's left in human being is burnt there at the altar of this place, from the knowing to being. And being is not something you can do. Just when you see that even the knowing, I know this, I know I am this, is also perceived. And nothing is kept as a reference, some tangible reference for yourself. And then you see that, but wait a second, some way, whatever I am is totally here. It's totally here. Before the birth of concepts or of feeling, everything that can be perceived is only arising in it, is its temporary aspects. And this kind of natural meditation, simple meditation, remembering, becomes most natural. You don't have to learn so much. One time I was looking at even the Sufi saint was talking about the different things. And sometimes it's okay to hear the different subtle layers of the construction of the universe and of the subtle plays and how the body came into being and how the quintessence of the elements were first arriving there, and then after that somehow the spirit comes there, and then the soul finally is pushed into that, and then the thing begins to take up. We can learn a little bit about it, but you don't have to learn so much about that. The true self-awareness it doesn't have to go through that. Otherwise you start to learn the mind, so this is what happened, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. But I'm talking about neat and direct, that all of what's happening in the mind, even auspiciously, is phenomenal to that which allows seeing to be recognized also. You stay with that. It's not that we're trying to come to a place where we are there but not doing. It's neither doing nor non-doing. It's beyond that. Because non-doing implies a non-doer. You see? So beyond this thing, and not beyond spatially, but subtly. Then you see that because what the people are afraid of, the ego mind is afraid of, is to have activities removed from you. But the activities are pure. It's only the activities that are driven by egoic identity that's impure. And you cannot stop activity. The cosmos creates activity. The life force manifests activity. Activity is not ego. You see, that's a mistake we make. Is that somehow, but if I come to that place, I have the non-doer, then what I sit on the shelf like some stone Buddha or something, you mistake completely. Then you're in the cosmic activity. You can perceive, but without confusion, in a unitive perceiving, not the way the ego wants ownership and praise and blame, and not without that. Can you imagine? Can you feel without it? Every time we come back to that place, before concepts, you find it's already here. Before you came back to it, it's already here. When we come back to it, whatever came back to it, it's already there. And that which is already there, that's the one who is here, and that's what you are. And that has no conflict with activity. Activity is very necessary for it in its manifestation, but it's activity perceived from the purest unity. Whatever it takes, you have it in abundance. You have to make use of it. Because it's not like, how much we have learned in the world and how much strenuous energy and to learn things which you cannot even keep. To learn things which they just, memory will take it away. Because memory also is necessary for learning, and it is not stable. It's also function. Memory also get old and tired. So what's the thing that even if memory goes, you cannot destroy it? Isn't it? Yeah. Everything else, every other function, the intellect, the memory, the body, everything else is somehow will go. The body will also go. What is the thing that won't go? It will watch even memory going. Something here is watching memory going. So that is the thing, simple, when our pointers have become so simple. I say, no, don't try to learn too many things because you're going to forget them anyway. Find the thing that is before remembering and forgetting. Then remembering and forgetting also, they are traffic. Where is that? Where has that ever gone? Where does it ever come from? And so the focus is simple. Nevertheless, the momentum, the force of habits from the mind, don't just walk away. They're going to keep coming. And it's good that they come, because if they don't come, you might feel like, well, I've transcended and everything. So when they come, they show you, whoa, we still have some, some work. And what is the work? Actually, is just to keep looking and see that was seen to come. And to acknowledge, register, confirm, and render your seeing that, but it's just this. Somehow we have to meditate on it, to stay with it until the efforts to stay also go. To stay meaning that you can leave. You have to be in that place that has no counterpart. You can come or you can go. You can, before all of these. And where is that and when is it? It's always been. When doesn't matter to it. It's before every when. And every place, everywhere, it's already here in this. And then what to do? Who's been asked the question? It or something else? You say, what to do? To whom is the question addressed? To that which is, or to that which wants to be it? And the want to be it is already what's from it. So this subtle, that's why I said to you one time, your meditation become like this, you can't do just like this. It's only on this point. If you manage to come to this place, to the quintessence of seeing, only this thing, it's this urge here. But I still am not there yet. I say, but who said this thing? What can this voice be apart from an appearance only? And if it has belief in it, then the belief will give a kind of solidity and a kind of, yes, like this. That being seen, stay being seen, stay with it, And if you put in even 10 minutes of looking like that, it is washing out everything, washing out. Every other knowledge. When I say we go beyond knowledge, it's not you're saying, oh, knowledge is rubbish. No, you be going beyond the need for knowledge, which is the self. Self doesn't need knowledge. Self doesn't need knowledge. Then that being established that is the truth experientially, then you can be with knowledge. Knowledge is the right, you have the right relationship with knowledge. You have the right relationship with activities because you're flowing in cosmic activities. How often we hear each other say, I was just thinking of you, or, I was coming to see you, and why is this? Because not, even in the world generally it happens like that, but people don't recognize that this was not a product of their ego. This was just somehow coming in attunement with the cosmic rhythm. And it's only because of this and recognizing this that I say to you, life takes care of life, not the ego. If you go with the ego mind and say, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then tomorrow I'm going to do that, so who speaks like God? God doesn't speak like that. So something, just when all you have to be is somehow be attuned with your own self, your own source. And then you see the way everything can still be whatever everything is. But it's not, it's not some real estate for you. It's not some treasure you put in a bank for you. It's something that's very, it's different. Even if you have billions in a bank, and even if you have 100,000 cars and 10 palaces, you can still be free if you're not attached to them. If you don't think that, like we have an old saying, man can make money, but money cannot make man. No? If you understand that, all these things can be there. There's a story that from the ancient time, from the story of Solomon, and it said that Solomon was a king, and he's son of David, son of King David. Solomon was. He said that God loved Solomon in the biblical language. That God loved Solomon, and God loved Solomon, and appeared in a dream to Solomon, and said to Solomon, ask from me whatever your heart wants, and I'll give it to you. And Solomon reflected for a moment. He says, of all the things I can ask for, he says, Lord, just give me wisdom to guide these people wisely. Give me wisdom from you. And says God was so pleased with Solomon. He said, Solomon, I am deeply pleased with you because of all the things you could have chosen, riches, you could have chosen, so many things. You chose wisdom so that something for your people, so you can guide the people wisely. So because you didn't choose other things, perishable things, I'm going to give them to you as well. You can have. I'm going to make you the wisest man in the world, wiser than St. Francis and all this kind of, the wisest person in the world. But also, I'm going to make you the richest also, because you didn't ask for that. And then many times later, Jesus also said, when people were talking, but what are we going to do? He says, don't worry about what you will eat or what you have to wear. Look at the flowers in the field, which so simple. Not even anybody planted them there. No? Look how beautiful they are. Not even Solomon, Jesus said, not even Solomon in all of his kingly splendor was dressed as perfectly as a flower, which is here only for a day and it's gone the next day. And if God makes these things, look at the birds, he said they don't have bank accounts, they don't save up, and look how much they're cared for. So how much more would the power of God care for you? You see? But he say, seek first the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven, and all these things will come to you. But some people feel, oh, I seek them so I can get all these things. I said, no, that's not the point. He said, what you need will come to you in even abundance, but don't seek those things. Seek first the kingdom of God. Then at another place he's saying, when asked, well, where is this kingdom of God? He said, it is within you. What kind of kingdom can be within you? It cannot be a kingdom. You cannot even fit a spoon inside your body. What kind of kingdom? Kingdom is palaces and not different kind of kingdom. Greater than all the kingdoms of the world is inside us. He's saying that, no? And you know it also, you see it, no? You don't know the teaching don't know, but you know what I'm saying. When I say the kingdom of heaven, what is this thing here? The kingdom of heaven is a place of peace and total silence and a sense of completeness and the joy and the natural and intuitive knowing that this is everlasting. This itself is beyond time. That is referred to as kingdom. But if the kingdom of God is within you, who are you? Understand? For whom is kingdom then? Why you need kingdom? Even. So look what these reflections, when you reflect upon them, look what happened to you. Right now, right here. What has to be here for you to perceive kingdoms? Consciousness has to be there. And even you are conscious right now. So consciousness is the wish-fulfilling tree. No? What is aware even of consciousness also? And do we have to go to books for these answers? So these type of contemplations, we talk about them. What is it saying? What is it saying? That's why I say it's not even a book, it's like a mirror. Putting a mirror in front. God's mirror is put. Yeah? Book you have to learn. But the mirror of God shows you what, you see. Who is going to be seen in this mirror when God is formless? Who is going to be seen? What's the purpose of this mirror? This mirror is satsang, actually. Mirror is satsang. Who is in this mirror? You. You're there, but not the flesh and blood one. What is this? Where even silence is heard also. And emptiness is also perceived. So all this satsang has just been preparing you just to accept yourself, if you can say that. And I'm so happy to say it is not about, destroying activity. God doesn't see, He created the activity. How can He be against activity? Nothing to do with anything about activity. The truth is not in conflict with any activity. It's somehow, but the activity born from delusion, from a deluded mind, this activity, is said sinful, meaning that it will not bring you joy. But it gives you choice. And this life is about the play of choice, which itself is illusory. When we listen to things like that, what you should do, you should go find a place by yourself, sit down by yourself for a little bit and just to confirm yourself. That's what we should do. Don't run down to the kitchen and run down to. Just go sit by yourself for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and just to see what is to be done and by who. What is here? What is here that's me? What is me? What does the term I refer to? Is it something tangible or intangible? And you will sit with it and he will show you. You let him show you. Him is you.
Yes.
We can call our source place. I say this because there is something in us that's running. You can call it the mind, sometimes you may call it yourself. It's running. When it comes to moments like this, you know, we can say almost it feels like the key has turned, the handle, the lock is turning to open, something wants to run. Tomorrow. But you have to come to see the absolute fallacy of that. That it's just a little trick in the mind. It's nothing. You're already inside, no? Rumi said, no? Also, and knocking at the door, it opened. Knocking, what, saying, "Let me in, let me in." The door opens, and you realize that you're already inside. Meaning, you as truth is inside. You as the ego is not inside. You know. Actually, nothing is outside. Mm-hmm. But there's an outside of the inside. And there's the inside of the inside, if you understand this kind of language. We're going a little bit Sufi now, but slow down a little bit now. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.